Awesome. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I was just sitting outside rewatching you and Nathan singing at the Disney Bowl recently, and I just wondered whether you'd touch base again since he sent you such a lovely letter the last time.
Yeah, he's the best. I haven't spoken to him about Mufasa, but we just got to sing together at the Hollywood Bowl for the first time. There was a 30th anniversary Lion King concert where they brought together cast members from every version of The Lion King, the original 1994, the Broadway show, the 2019 Mufasa. Other people were there, and Nathan and I got to sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, and I think that's going to be on Disney Plus this coming year.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah,
Timon is such a iconic character for so many people, and you've come in and done such an amazing job coming back. I mean, it's rare that you get to come back and do these things again. How much fun was it? And was it a bit easier this time to kind of process it?
Yeah, I mean, in the 2019 film that Jon Favreau directed, I was pretty intimidated. You know, stepping into Nathan Lane's footsteps, Timon that's an iconic voice performance. I mean, Timon from 1994 is still a meme online, you know, for kids who weren't even born when that came out. So it took me and Seth some time in the studio with Jon Favreau to figure out our version of the characters. Like, you want to nod to the spirit of the original, but make it your own. So this time it seemed like if they were inviting us back, we assumed it's because people liked what we did. And so we had a little more confidence going into it. But this became a lot about improv this time. Barry Jenkins really encouraged us to improvise and ad-lib, and a shocking amount of it ended up in the movie.
I can imagine improv, you say they're doing it with Seth Rogen, that was probably similar, I guess, to, I remember reading about Robin Williams doing Mrs. Doubtfire. There was like the PG-13 version, the R-rated version, the NC-17 version. Was there times where you got a little bit too far and kind of was
we know what we know the movie we're making, so it's not like we're cursing, but maybe sometimes things veer off into a more adult direction. But you know, it's not wildly inappropriate ever, I would say.
What's the best thing for you as an actor doing the voice work? Because it's a very specific kind of mindset and a very specific way of acting, and kind of you have to kind of pronounce yourself a little bit more. Do you find it's intriguing, or have you kind of got used to it?
Yeah, it's really fun. I've done a lot of it at this point. It's great that I have Seth there. I've done it where you're alone, trying to be funny alone in a vacuum. That's actually how these things are usually made. You know, I've done The Simpsons, I've done Bob's Burgers, I did Family Guy, and I'm always alone. That's just not as fun as having Seth Rogen there to bounce, ideas off, to bounce off with, and to riff with, and that makes it much easier in a way. Yeah.
What's the thing for you in terms of Timon as a character? Is there like a phrase or a way that your voice kind of comes across that gets you into him?
Yeah, it kind of just, once I step up to the mic, something happens. Like there's like a heightened thing that happens with my voice. It's my voice, but it's projected more. It's a little more high pitched. It's like Pumbaa, like, you kind of go into that Timon voice, but it just happens on its own when I know I'm being Timon.
Yeah. You're working with Barry Jenkins, who was part of a film that had probably the biggest kind of Oscar moment of all time. But as a filmmaker, he's not someone that's kind of put with these kind of movies, but he seems to excel. What was it about him as a director and as a partner for this that was different to anybody else that you'd worked with?
Yeah, well, he's a masterful filmmaker. I obviously love his films. They are very different than Mufasa. And I think what I really appreciate about what he's done with this movie is that he has added, a lot of complexity to a family film. I think the way that Mufasa's character and Taka, who becomes Scar, the way those characters develop, there's a lot of nuance there. It's not one's the villain and one's the hero. Like, he adds a lot of humanity to it for both characters. And I think that's very Barry Jenkins. And that's a pretty sophisticated move for a film of this scale. And I appreciate that. And in terms of what me and Seth did, he was just very encouraging, very warm. Again, really wanted us to improvise, laughed at everything, whether it was funny or not, and was just trying to make us feel confident.
Yeah. Just finally, I love watching you on Billy in the Street, and I just wondered whether you and Nathan Lane had decided to go out and see who was the best Timon to the public.
Nathan's the best Timon. Nathan's the OG.
Pass that one over,
yeah. I could never compete. I just, try to do my spin on it and not, embarrass myself horribly.
You don't. You're fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank
you. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey,